You're listening to the Grit to Growth podcast. Real talk with real business owners and professionals who built their freedom the hard way and now want more time, money, and impact.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Levi Tesla with Mailbox Money here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Today, I'm joined by Vinatieri-Erickson, a lifelong South Dakotan who's built an incredible career spanning public service and business leadership. She served in South Dakota legislation on the Sioux Falls City Council, and today leads both South Dakota Auto Dealers Association and the South Dakota Trucking Association. Christine, welcome into the show.
Hey, thanks so much, Levi. I appreciate the invite, and I apologize early on for my voice. If you want to call me Phoebe, I kind of have that smelly cat voice going on right now. So just getting
a little Friends callback, huh?
I know, right? Just getting over this junk, we'll say right now.
Yeah, 'tis the season for
right?
it.
I
got two small ones, so I'm always sharing that with them too.
Just keep passing it around.
Well, Christine, why don't we start kind of with who you are background-wise, and kind of let's get into what you're doing today after that.
Yeah, well, super excited to be on your show here. Love to talk about the transportation industry and really the impact that it has on every single life in South Dakota and our nation. So a little bit about me, born and raised South Dakota, Rapid City, lived in Pierre for a short stint, and then chose to call Sioux Falls my home and raised my three boys here in Sioux Falls. One that gets to play football at SDSU as a kicker, go Jacks. And then I got
Go Jacks, ears up.
That's right. And then I have two boys that are at Jefferson High School and also play football. So it's a little bit in our family. We love some football. And really, just like I said, choose to call Sioux Falls home. Love what it has to offer, and decided to be a small business owner and started a rental business. Worked in that for a long time, and very fulfilling, finding that niche market for people that need some short-term corporate housing. And that really was the traveling nurse community. They really needed to find housing for that short term. And so affordable housing can look really different to a lot of different folks. And
100%.
And making sure that we have people in Sioux Falls to take care of us when we're not feeling well or maybe get in an accident is important, in making sure that they have that place to live. So I ran that business for quite some time. And during that time, I served in the State House District 11, West Side Sioux Falls. Did that, very fulfilling, but really had a heart for politics local. That's where the sausage is made, right? That's all. Politics is local, truly. And so being able to serve on the Sioux Falls City Council at large for 8 years was extremely rewarding, to be able to represent just everyday person, to take a call from you, Levi, and you're like, hey, here's what's going on. Can you help me navigate this system? Because government can be messy sometimes. It shouldn't, but it can be. And so I loved being that advocate for change and making sure that you had government working for you. And so got done doing that, and I've been now in my current role as the president for South Dakota Auto Dealers and South Dakota Trucking Associations. Two associations, all have wheels, so we all share a common goal, so to speak. And
Yep.
It's just been an awesome role to serve a massive industry in South Dakota. The decisions that I get to make and advocate on behalf of all of our members and their employees impact the daily lives of each and every one of us.
For those of the listeners who wouldn't really know kind of what these associations do, can you walk us through kind of the basics of how they're formed and what they're truly serving?
Yeah, so our membership, trade associations are a membership-based organization. And on the automotive side, with associate members, and we represent franchise, non-franchise, which is used cars, power sports, RVs, and heavy-duty trucks, so the semi.
Okay.
So that's what we represent on the automotive side. On the trucking side, we represent the businesses and the logistic companies, and it's really the guys and gals behind the truck. That is the salt of the earth person that we are representing, that is delivering our goods. And I always remind everyone, we believe in a very diverse transportation system, but nothing moves without trucking. We can't even get our automotive or our cars, our power sports, any of that stuff is all delivered by a truck. Your hat on your head, the
Yep.
microphone you're talking to, the chair you're sitting in, the clothes that we wear, everything is touched by a trucker, even if it's just the last mile. Might have been come by boat, rail, air.
Plane, whatever. Yep.
Trucker delivers the last mile for sure every time to those stores. And I think what we learned during COVID is how critical and how we are so dependent on the supply chain, and the
100%.
truckers that deliver those items are just so critical. And it's too bad that it took a pandemic for us to really give a care about our truckers, because before it was just, the mentality was these big trucks are in the way and they're kicking up dirt and dust and rain and all of that. And we've now have a whole new appreciation for making sure that our shelves are stocked. So, little tangent, little squirrel moment for you.
That's all right. It's
But so
good one to know.
yeah, so we represent, it's not mandatory, obviously, but anyone that wants to become a member of our association, and they fit within those categories, we take you. And we are here to advocate on your behalf. And, agriculture in South Dakota is our number one industry. But
Hmm.
guess what? Nothing moves without the trucks and agriculture. And so I share that with people, letting, the medical world, hey, you don't get your supplies without us. You don't get people to work without the cars and the things that we are selling. And so our two associations really play a critical role in the commerce of South Dakota. And it's a heavy job and it's a heavy lift, but boy, I accept that challenge to making sure that we're able to operate and keep government out of our way.
Yeah. Along those lines, obviously both those industries are some of the most rapid changing ones with technology, labor, and regulations. What are kind of the challenges that you're seeing? You hit on the 2020 COVID challenges. What are
Yeah.
some challenges you're seeing in the year 2025?
Well, okay, so we do see a shortage in diesel tech and automotive tech. That workforce area is really an area of focus for us. We
Okay.
do put our money where our mouth is. So our members, they sponsor, like we do a fishing Calcutta, and we're able to give money back to the tech schools to making sure
Yeah.
that if there is a student that isn't able to finish their degree, that we've got scholarships available for them to finish. We started doing that on the automotive side as well. So diesel tech, we just gave $9,000 to a tech school. For automotive, just last week, I gave a check for $48,000.
It's amazing.
Those are big bucks. And the
That's
last
life-changing stuff
it
to those.
it
Yeah.
is, and those tools a lot of times are a barrier to entry, and so we want the tech schools, they know where the needs are, so we like to give them with as least strings attached, knowing this has to go into automotive. And so if it means tools or tuition, let's just make sure that we get people through that. And then, oh, by the way, we'd be happy to place them and create relationships and connections to jobs. One of the things that I'm super excited about and hope that we can grow this in the automotive is Southeast Tech is working with the state penitentiary with diesel tech
Yeah.
and doing some work with that. We know that the vast majority of the folks are getting out of prison. And so let's make sure we have them set up for success. Let's make sure they've got the training, the mentorship, and the abilities to do a good job and not get back into that same situation that they were in before. And so we're hoping to expand that to automotive. Those are early talks right now.
Yeah.
But I know I have car dealers that are hungry to hire those folks that want to do a good job and want to stay out and get a fresh start. We all want a second
That's
shot.
That's amazing. That's definitely kind of outside the box that I think most people would go to. Yeah, focusing on students and raising them up there, but that is a very outside the box thinking and very powerful, I might add.
Yeah. Well, and we see other companies doing this already. I recently took a tour of Millennium Recycling right here in Sioux Falls and took a tour, and I said, "Hey, how's your workforce?" And they said, "We struggle. We struggle with, keeping and maintaining people." And I said, "Have you ever considered hiring some of the inmates that are getting out and working on, breaking that cycle?" And they said, "Absolutely. We hire a lot of those folks." and they offer life coaching and mentorship. And those are those public-private partnerships that we need to expand and grow. We know there's a new prison coming to Sioux Falls in South Dakota. Gosh, I wish we did not ever need a prison. I mean, I would love that. But for the sake of the victims, for the sake of the criminals as well as and those employees, we need a place that we can break the cycle, I'll say. And so we've got companies right here already hiring those folks. We just want to grow on that. In South Dakota, I will tell you, we're not always on the forefront of technology. We like to let everybody else work the kinks out, and then we'll bring it forward, like ride sharing when you had Uber and Lyft. We were the
Yep.
last ones to get that again,
We're
and
slow to adopt for sure.
we are, and I played a part in that as well with Lyft when I was on the city council. And so, we're a little slow in that. And so last year at our legislative session, we brought electronic title to the legislature, and Senator Colbeck and Representative Jameson were our prime sponsors on that. And I'm so excited to report out of 105 legislators, we had one no vote, and it kills me to think that we had one no vote. I'm like, what could I have done to get her to vote yes, right? And so we essentially created the framework for electronic title. It's not a mandate. Dealerships do not have to use it. Consumers don't have to use it if they don't want. But it's that framework to utilize technology. We've had some struggles over the last few years with processing titles quickly. And so let's use technology and AI and some of that to speed up the process and get those titles turned faster. Using an electronic title, they claim 36 hours, but usually they can get that title turned in like 18 to 24 hours.
Wow.
That's faster dollars into the pockets of everyone. The consumer gets their title work faster, or it goes to the bank. That money is then put back into the economy because dealerships can't sell cars that they don't have the titles to. So
That is very true.
if they get that title faster. So Levi, if you go into said dealership and you're like, hey, I really like that minivan for my family, and they're like, sorry, I don't have the title. I can't even show
Maybe
you.
not the minivan, maybe the SUV.
Hey, I drove a minivan for 18 years. They are what you make of them. So, I've now graduated to a small sports SUV, kind of little smaller, zip around, better gas mileage for what I need. But it helps the consumer get access to more vehicles too. And so it's really important for us to be consumer facing with how we handle that. So that's kind of what we've been up to on that front. And then also on the trucking side, some of the things that we're looking at coming up this year, not as sexy maybe, but we're seeing huge lawsuits that are putting trucking companies out of business. And so we want to make sure that we add transparency to that and a little sunlight to that by, saying, hey, if you're going to invest in somebody's car accident, you need to be transparent about that, and that we need to know about that. All we want is transparency in that, and that's happening in a lot of places. And so that's an area that we're looking at to making sure that we don't have foreign countries coming in and investing in these jackpot verdicts. It's very problematic and dangerous to just our mom and pop truck companies here in South Dakota.
Yeah, it's definitely going back to COVID, more apparent than ever that we need those around, and it is very important to all kinds of different businesses, not just the immediate ones you think of.
Yep, exactly. It's just maybe sometimes those bigger companies can absorb
The hits.
the hit better, or they can cruise through it a little bit. But some of my smaller trucking companies, they're one lawsuit away from going out of business, and it doesn't just impact the couple of owners. It impacts their 50 employees and the drivers and the infrastructure and our supply chain. And so we want to just be really mindful, but we also want to make sure that we're advocating for safety.
Well, Christine, I'd be remiss not to bring up you're running for the mayor of Sioux Falls. Is that correct?
That is right. Yeah, we just announced here in July our candidacy for mayor, and so being around my background of being a small business owner, and then being the president of two major associations that impact commerce in our state, I'm ready to step up and serve. This is about public service for me. Having three young boys, raising them, setting good examples for them, and making sure that our city is one that's welcoming and also one that we're driving change forward and we're driving forward opportunities that they don't feel like they need to move 4 or 5 states away to fulfill the career that they want. We've got those jobs available right here in South Dakota, and so I want to make sure that we're protecting that and moving Sioux Falls forward.
It's an amazing mission.
Mm.
I love your ideology of kind of from the ground up, talking to everyone who's involved in it, the little guys to the big guys. I think that's extremely important and needs to be heard from more people.
Yeah, for sure. And it's about representation for all, right? I mean, my member that calls me that is big, big, big gets the exact same treatment as someone that calls me as an owner operator, or whether you own 2 car dealerships or 10. I represent everyone equally in making sure that their business is alive and well, and that American dream that they so desire is one that they can flourish and provide the jobs. And a lot of our dealerships operate in South Dakota and a lot of our smaller communities. It's not just all Sioux Falls and Rapid City. We've got Groton. We've got a ton of smaller communities as well. And so it's making sure that those are alive and well, and that
Yeah,
when you need your car fixed, you got somewhere to go to get it done. You don't want to have to just go to quote the big city, we'll say. And so we get to advocate on behalf of everyone and those families that they represent as well.
that's great. Well, for someone listening who wants to kind of take a step up and make an impact, whether that's in business, community, or government, what's a piece of advice you might give them?
Yeah, well, thank you for this question. I spend a lot of time investing in our youth. When I say our youth, it's anyone, on up, and as well as others. I had some really great mentors pour into me throughout my lifetime, and life is hard. You aren't going to get the invite all the time. You're not going to get the job every time, and so my advice to anyone really is expect a seat at the table. I don't wait for the phone call. I call you and I say, "Hey, Levi, can we sit down and talk about this issue? Hear each other out and find some common ground so we can move things forward." Whether that's in automotive, trucking, government, life in general, and
Yeah,
just being a good human being, right? Right now, today, more than ever, we need good human beings that we can disagree without being disagreeable. We can just agree and move on, that we can move. And so I think it's really important that anyone, regardless of your age or anything, is get involved, find your mission, find something you're passionate about, and move the needle. One of my favorite stories. So when my kids were in elementary school, I helped a lot with student council. And one of my favorite stories, I went and talked to elementary schools all over, and these 2 young girls raised their hand, and we're talking city issues, and they said, we don't like going to the snow hill anymore because there's big rocks in the way. Can you remove those? And I said, I hear you. I hear you. Here's my question back to you. What can you do to make it better? Instead of just expecting government to fix it or expecting someone else to fix it, how can you be a part of that change? These 2 young girls developed a group of people. They went out to Spellerberg Park and they picked up a big old pile of rocks to make the sledding hill more safe. Isn't that what it's about? Isn't that change?
that's what it's all about.
Oh my gosh, it just was so like chill. Like I just had goosebumps thinking about it, knowing that these 2 girls are not going to forget what they did. Another one of my stories was we were talking about library hours while I was on the city council. And while these issues may seem small to some, these were big issues to the people. And so we had these 2 gals that came in, again, two young girls that came in and spoke at city council, and they talked about closing the library early hurt their family because that is where their father was going to learn English. That's where their father was going
Wow.
to apply for jobs. And so while they were fluent and these people were here legally, they were here, according to all the
Doing it the right way.
they're doing it the right way. They literally wanted access to the libraries. And so they kept coming and advocating on behalf of their family to say, can we just keep the libraries open so my parents can better their life? They want to be a part here, so let's do it. And so they were able to be a part of that change also, which was really awesome, just to empower people to think you too can be a part of the solution. And while those are small, maybe things for some, this was life changing to these young girls. And so I'm hoping that they're thriving and doing well in those instances. And we continue to be that change in the automotive and trucking industries as well. So I always say anyone can get involved, and it's so important to build those relationships and connections.
Yeah, those are amazing. Like you said, they're little things, but it's grit and
Yeah,
it's people growing, hence the show name. We
right,
were before we started, we were both making fun of our dorky little signs before,
right,
but no, I think those are amazing things to share, and more people should be hearing those kind of stories.
for sure.
Well, Christine, here's kind of the section where I'll let you promote yourself, what you got going on, the associations. If people want to learn more about them, where would
Yeah.
you send them to?
So you can head over to our websites. Just Google South Dakota Auto Dealers Association and South Dakota Trucking Associations. We do have two separate web pages. You can find out all the events and things that are important to us as we head into the legislative session coming up in January. The other thing we started a while ago, just to put a quick little plug in our podcast, Driveline Podcast. We haven't been as active with it, and I'm hoping we'll be able to get that up and going a little bit more here soon. But you can see some of the interviews that we've done. We've taken some time to sit down and talk to our congressional delegation, some of our vendor partners, some of our dealerships and dealers, and promoting some of our events. So check out our Driveline Podcast. And then also, I would be remiss if I didn't put my mayor candidate hat on and head over
Please do.
to ChristineForSiouxFalls.com and check out our website. We'll have a bunch of events that we're going to be launching pretty soon. We're starting Coffee with Christine, where our team is going out into different neighborhoods to sit and listen. We want to have industry conversations with folks, whether you are a constituent in healthcare, in banking, in construction, in law enforcement. I don't care what your role is. We want to sit and hear, why do you like Sioux Falls? What do you want in the next mayor? And we just want to just absorb all that information and take it in so we can make sure that our candidacy is here about representing the people of Sioux Falls.
Amazing, Christine. Well, I really appreciate you joining me today, sharing your story and perspective. You've led in so many spaces, and it's inspiring to see the consistency of service and leadership. So thank you again.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Of course. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you on the next one.
Know someone with serious grit and a great growth story? Send them our way at grittogrowthpodcast.com/guest.